Right, is now time for raising funds for World Domination, day 91. So updates for today. I did I think the final filming on the next video. I still have there's a bit more editing to do and so overlays to add and stuff. So hopefully that'll still be out by the end of the week. I guess end of the week is tomorrow. Maybe the weekend. No progress on world domination plans today. Yeah, actually, this morning I ended up. I thought I fixed some of the bugs I was working on last night. I thought I fixed that issue once and for all, but I didn't. And I noticed that this morning, and then I thought I could fix that quick, but I couldn't, and I ended up spending even more time on it. So that's what I'm gonna hopefully fix now. Some of these. The issue is with when I merge layers, when there's multi-column characters, there's some bug cases there. I just keep thinking, oh, I could do it this way and that way, and it ends up being too complicated and wrong. So hopefully we can get that solved once and for all tonight. Let's see what it looks like. Orthoplex 64 sends a wave. Game Dev Chad. Evening. How's it going? And you're both number one. Okay, yeah. So it currently, with the attempted fix, the cursor disappears. I think it may not actually even show up in this one, because I remember I think this computer, it's a different version of Ubuntu, and I think the rock emoji character has a different width. Alright, that case works. Robert, you should take a JavaScript date test. It's on the website. JS date to WTF. What does that mean? JavaScript date test. I don't even know what that is. Bradman says, "Sup, Rob? How's it going?" JavaScript date library. I'm lacking the context. It's just about like testing the date functions or something. Alright, I think this has test failure. unintuitive and absurd. Website tests how well you know it's a library. Give you a line of code and you select which output. Oh, I probably wouldn't do good at that. I actually don't know the intricacies of it very well. It's been a while since I did a lot of JavaScript. I'm away for business in a random Best Western small town. Is hotels are getting expensive these days. It's been a while since I stayed at one, and they all have bed bugs and stuff now too. $350. Wow, $350. That's a bunch. Vancouver Island. Yeah, I guess Vancouver's naturally pretty crazy, but apparently the real estate market is starting to crash a bit. The condo market, and they're saying this is awful. The price is going down a little bit, so they want to like get rid of all these foreign buyer bans, so they can let foreign countries buy and finance all of our housing. It's sort of relevant because GS date library inspired from Java's old date library. Not detached houses. Yeah, those are the any place that people actually want to live has not gone down. But the dog crate condos that were just built for investors that are like, apparently they're really awful in like many ways. Like they're really small. They some of them are built in like these high rises in downtown Toronto, and because there's so many places crammed in there, and they only have like one elevator, it takes like almost like 30 minutes to get in and out of the building because there's so much contention for the elevator. How's the Renoviction? The last hearing date was I think almost exactly a month ago, and the conclusion from that was we ran out of time, and there'll be we'll continue on October 6th with the L2 merits hearing. I have a feeling we're probably going to win because I think their case is pretty weak. Java deprecated their date library, but JS still hangs on to that. They don't have AC. Lots of old people may die like a few years. Oh yeah, there's that's been a thing too. And in this building, even having an air conditioning unit, when the new owner took over this place, he came through and inspected. They did these like random inspections, and if you had in your own air conditioner, they started issuing. They sent around notices trying to pressure people to put the hydro in their own name so that they could charge them more. Canada's worst disaster here in BC. Thousands dead. Was it thousands? I do remember there was a lot of elderly people that passed away in a heat wave there. That was just a few years ago. Okay, this is not a very good function name. But once it works, I will merge it. 600. That's still like, that's a crazy amount. Like it's on the, it's on the order of 1,000. 0.6 thousand. It's kind of concerning how like so many things in society are falling apart. Like years ago, if a couple of people died randomly, it would make the news and it'd be controversy and stuff. And now systems fail and people die all the time, and it's like it's too much work to care about this. I got my own problems. I think old people maybe don't feel the heat, basically just dehydrate. It might be dehydration, or it might also be like cardiovascular complications. We see them walking around in sweaters on a 35-degree day. There's something called like the wet bulb temperature, where it's related to humidity. And I guess there's like a theoretical, like if you have 100% humidity and heat that goes over a certain temperature, it's like that high of level of humidity is quite rare. Like a lot of places like Death Valley and stuff, where it's insanely hot, it's quite dry, so you can actually sweat and expel heat that way. But if you can't, if it's so hot, if it's so humid that you can't sweat, there's like a theoretically like relatively low temperature where it's like unsurvivable, where like people can survive in that temperature for like a few hours or something, but beyond that, like it's, it would be 100% mortality rate. Just worried about my mother, who lives in one of those. I went and got her portable unit. Yeah, when they came around here and did the air conditioner inspection, they cited some people who had the portable ones. that you're making progress on your unit. Fight those scammers. I mean with the Renoviction, I think we're, from what I've seen, there's been some news that they lost at some of the other buildings. So, I think one of the biggest things that happened was the cost of rent went down when they took over this building. That was when rent was going crazy, and like just before they took over, with the previous owners. So I'm paying, I guess back at that time I was paying just over $1,000, and around that time, I'd seen it going up like, $200 a year, pretty sharply, and I think it was $1,800 or $1,900 when the other new company took over, and then they almost immediately increased it to $2,400 as soon as they took over. So over like, almost 2.5 times what my rent was at the time was what they were charging here. And so that was why it was really profitable to renovate. But rents have come down a bit since then, and I think that's one of the big things that's saving us, because it's not quite as profitable to evict everybody at the moment. It's still better, but. Speaking of problems, what's the latest with Renoviction? Yeah, we were just talking about that. So the full history was, like I said, it started over a year ago. Got the N13 notice. What was it? April 30th of 2024, giving 90 days notice, which was not. It's not a legal document. It's more of a suggestion. So they wanted us out by August 30, 2024, and then they, within a month, filed to get a hearing at the tenant board. The initial hearing for me was scheduled February 19th, 2025. In early January of 2025, I think January 7th or something, they canceled my N13 merits, and then they pulled me into a case management hearing with all the other tenants, because there's like 60 something tenants who all got the same notice. Then we talked about the merits of hearing the cases together, and the conclusion was we would hear the cases together. So the meeting was the hearing was adjourned to be scheduled to have the L2 merits hearing at a later date. I think a month later, we got notice that the hearing will be on June 24. We attended the June 24 hearing and argued about the merits of obtaining vacant possession to perform the proposed extensive renovations. And we got through a bunch of witnesses. We were about to call one more, and we ran out of time. So that hearing was adjourned, and now we're going to have another hearing. That's going to be October 6th, 2025. So that would be like hearing number 4 that's been scheduled. Or no, I'm starting to lose track. So yeah, it's the February 19th one, case management one. Yeah, anyway, so the next hearing is going to be October 6th, where I guess we'll pick up where we left off. We're here that next witness. And from what I know about it, so that's going to, we're going to argue, we're going to focus on Section 73 arguments on the RTA. And if they do not reject the Entry 13s, then we'll have another hearing probably after that, because there's some other things that we can that they didn't do properly. They could be argued at the next hearing. So lots and lots of hearings. Another hearing. Every additional month is a blessing. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Although it's, I mean, in hindsight, it's kind of not worth it. So much uncertainty of, like, so much screwing around, and it's such a waste to have to research this stuff and prepare for it. And like, I have to go to the hearing, so it's like it's a wasted day. I could be, writing some block mining games on those days. Imagine the government costs of dealing with all this. Yeah, I mean, and I like, this. I mean, there's some people who are who commented like, oh, you should just get a job, get a move somewhere else and get a bigger salary, and or do this or do that. But there's people here who are basically like trapped here, like. I mean, we were talking about elderly people, like those 600 elderly people who died from heat. There would be a ton of people who would be in that same category who live in this building. And you just you don't hear about those stories because they're not on YouTube, they're not streaming. They still believe this, country is still, they still think it's a high trust society, but people are kind of waking up to how things have changed. Honestly, in terms of the actual the integrity of like the hearings in itself and like the adjudicator, I'm pleasantly surprised. But like everything other than that, like the way some other tenants have behaved, and there's all these other organizations that are supposedly helping and stuff, but there's people like miscommunicating and fighting with each other, and it's just been it's really opened my eyes to how much things are falling apart. Beats getting kicked out without cause. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why they're not in a huge hurry to even hear this stuff. I mean, realistically, the tenant board should have saw that there was like 60, because they had to. I mean, I saw the document. They had to submit a list of all N13s they issued in the building, and like instantly, as soon as they took over the building, they had to submit this to the tenant board. They issued N13s to almost the entire building. So that you would think that the tenant board would look at that and be like, that's a little bit fishy, that these people have lived here for like this one old guy, he said he just had his anniversary. He's lived here for 30 years in this building. This has been his home. And then like 1 second after, some guy takes it over. They're like, nope, gotta evict everybody. Without any apartment inspections or anything. Frozen Spaceman. Since one gifted. Congratulations to Jimmy J. Thank you very much. Maybe other tenants are being paid off, or have shady side deals. Could be anything. Yeah. That's been one thing that, like there are specific tenants who are like I know some tenants have arranged deals with the landlord. Like that was one of they came around with this thing saying like, if you move out right now, we'll give you a couple extra $1,000, which is like would not even keep up with the extra market rate rent. So a lot of people didn't take that. And of course, there's a couple tenants who are like kind of bizarrely fixated on this idea that like there's certain like trader tenants or something, and come up with all these like, paranoid ideas. I mean, mathematically, it's possible if you could pay off certain tenants to like cause trouble and stuff. That would be a profitable business model. But then again, that would be illegal if you ever got found out. It's kind of sad that that's the reality of how things are financially in this country. How many times has the landlord used this tactic in the past? This is maybe like I don't know about the history of all his buildings, but he has done like the exact same thing at like maybe 6 to 10 buildings. I enjoy your Linux stuff. Glad you're streaming strong. Thank you. I don't put anything past these people. Sounds almost like union busting tactics. Yeah, I'm sure they use any kind of weird techniques to just cause controversy and just make it unpleasant to live here, so people leave. Because every person that leaves, like the rent control, like I say, rent's gone down a bit, but every person you get out of here, it's basically like $1,000 a month per person you can get out. Have you spoken to the people who went through same experience at his other buildings? Yes, I've had some interactions with some. Not extensive interactions. There's a bunch of people that just like. A lot of people just don't want to deal with it. It really stresses people out a lot to even talk about it. Odessa Reader says, hello there. How's it going? $5:40 in the morning. That's either very early or very late. How's things, Rob? They're going. Working on fixing some very stubborn bugs in the block mining simulation game. Now, will this fix this case? Should I get coffee from Tim Hortons now or not? I don't know. It's kind of late for a coffee. Although, if you have a habit of late drinking coffee, maybe that's consistent with your routine. $7.40. Oh, okay. I don't know. It's a tough call. I usually try to not coffee that late. But if you're going to be up late or working, maybe. Game Dev Chat is in the Starbucks drive-thru. Ask him to get you something. What an amazing futuristic world where we can be coding and in the Starbucks drive-thru and talking in chat all at the same time. Thirsty Buddha. I don't know what that is. I also don't know what long. Get a long john. Tim Hortons coffee kind of tastes like burnt coffee beans. Long John, also known as a bar, eclair, or finger donut. It's a bar-shaped yeast-risen donut, either created with a glaze or top-coated. Actually, now that you say that, I do vaguely remember that term. I don't think I've had one of those in a long time. I think they still call it that in the East. Maybe. I don't know. It's been a very long time since I ordered anything at Tim Hortons. Yeah, when I hear long johns, I think the like long underwear. We'll report back in 10 minutes. Let's see, maybe this will totally break. I hate how it's a simple thing I want to do, but it's so hard to make it correct. I feel like I'm going nuts trying to get this, just fix this case, because if I don't fix it, it just causes so many other problems. You were not able to get a Long John? It's too bad. At least they weren't closed. Thanks for the gift. Membership to Frozen Spaceman. I wonder how YouTube's algorithm works for deciding who gets memberships. And I SSH into your box. Which box? Is that Ubuntu? Yep. Unity? Yeah, I guess it's a default UI. I don't never do any kind of like a desktop configuration or anything. I just use the default. I haven't used Ubuntu since version 8. That was a while ago. The low poly Panther background is default. Yeah, I guess that's the yeah, it's kind of funny. It's it would seem like it would be normal, but the fact that there's those dots on the gaze on the eye just make it like hilarious, I think. I'm a KDE man myself. KDE, GNOME desktop environment. I honestly don't, in terms of like the ecosystem of graphical stuff, I don't really know much about it. on Linux. I've just I guess as you can see on my channel, everything is about command line. Everything. I prefer that just because I can learn one thing and then not have to like relearn stuff all the time. What does KDE stand for? I guess, yeah, K couldn't stand for GNOME. KDE's damn exciting. Why is that? It used to be cool desktop environment. Now it's just KDE. Okay, that's kind of a lame acronym. Probably just more of a riff on the OG. CDE from Unix. Oh, okay, I never even heard about that. Donut is terrible. That's not surprising. They've gone downhill. R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I saw that. Everyone is dying. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. There's so much going on. It's hard to keep up with. you should click monetization to on, make some big dollars. Actually, the ad revenue is close to nothing for live streams, and most of the revenue on it comes from the memberships that I get, or the super chats, and when I declare it's monetizable to advertise on, like, first of all, it's also a really bad UI, user experience, to get ads. But also, if I have to click a thing and say, like, this content does not contain these bad things or something like that, and with the chat in it, I don't know, I don't want to risk getting demonetized. So I think that, from what I understand, the the most practice model is you live stream your stuff, and then you would like edit out stuff from VODs that's like deemed safe, and then sometimes I'll blur the chat. All right, that is still broken. I really probably should make some clips or something for my stuff, but I don't have any time already working on other videos during the day. If the chat started talking about gooning, would you be penalized? I don't know. That's the thing. I think there's probably various categories of filters. Like, there's all kinds of rules and stuff, like if you swear in the first 30 seconds, and there's like certain classes, like the F word, like as an interjection, the F word, I think, is like treated differently from if you're using it like in an explicit way. And of course, everything is large language models, so the language model is smart enough, like the zeros that you put in gooning, I'm sure it's smart enough that that has like zero effect on actually obscuring it. Because I mean, as a test, you can like copy and paste that and put that into ChatGPT right now and say, like, what does this mean? And I'm sure it'll explain it to you. So much mystery with YouTube. I'm surprised they can get away with that. I mean, that thing is, who would police them? It's a complicated thing to articulate to begin with. COVID vaccine. Yeah, if you copy and paste that, if you want to have some fun, put that into copy and paste that into like Grok or ChatGPT, and ask it, like, what does this mean? And it'll probably be like, oh, that means this thing. It'll just understand it immediately. The AI is really good. Have it censor me before over that? Not surprising. It seems to an amusing thing is when people joke about conspiracy theories, it will censor them. And there's other random, just like innocuous stuff, it'll censor. censored you just now. Yep, it's probably pulling out context. It saw you triggered it to be in like a defensive state by chatting controversial topics. Oh, so you said this. You said the same thing, but without the word Einstein, with the other word, and it censored that. So it's so amusing that like the stereotypical things that you would think it would censor, it censors them. Yeah, not surprising. Don't chat too many conspiracy theories. Otherwise, YouTube will learn. YouTube will just send more conspiracy theories here. Conspiracy theorists. Worse than you think. I think what it may be is it's not only just like I don't think it's just about censoring it, but it's about I think like the behavior of the people who chat those things most frequently are like most annoying. Like there's a few people that I've banned before who are like actually like really seriously mentally ill, who are like spamming. They're fixated on some conspiracy idea, on like just random stuff, and they're like chatting really inappropriate stuff or posting comments, and I have to ban them because of that. And then it's probably like, what's the probability that this person's comment would get banned for this? I hate how complicated this has become. I keep trying to solve this in a simple way, and then it just becomes complicated every time. Oh wow. Could I be making progress? Alright, it's still buggy, but oh man, what's that bug? Interesting. There's not as many other chatters tonight. You've totally taken over the chat, Radman. Nearly asleep in my chair. Very bored. Let's see which test fails. Gets through more of them. One, 299. Would you like to level up to I don't know what you're going on about there. Haven't been bored in years. I guess with my exciting live streams, you can never be bored. All right, let's step through that. Probably not, Redman. You may fork it and do it yourself. That is within the terms of the license for personal use. All right, let's try that again. So the merging down of the space does not correctly set the next character to be a space. Hopefully this is just an off by one error, and then it'll work perfectly. So nothing before. That makes sense. Current character width is 1. That's correct. So we're on layer 1. Checking layer 0. Ever seen the editor that Linus Torvalds uses? I'm not sure. Actually, I have no idea what he uses. Micro Emacs. Yeah, I thought something. My memory told me that some kind of Emacs. I guess if it works, it works. So the problem is scanning through the width of the character. Starting from the width of the character on top. But it should cycle through. To the layer underneath, which it's not doing. And you know, if I remove that -1, then it might do what I want. Maybe that will work. Look at that, it's totally broken. Nice. Man, this bug is driving me nuts. I spent so much time on this. The code just keeps getting more and more insane. Oops. Still totally broken. I know you don't play video games much, but have you at least played Portal 1 and 2? Or seen the playthrough? I have not played them. I did, there's some like completely insane speedrun I saw of Portal, one of the Portal games. And I remember watching it in school with a friend of mine that shared it. And it was this guy who had just like played it some incredible number of hours, and he beat the whole game in like 1 minute, like 60 seconds or something like that. And he had all these. He just casually used all these like really like nonsensical terms, like, oh, just go to this part, and then just do accelerated back hopping, and then use the standard glitch on this thing to open a portal in this weird way. And that's about all I know of Portal. never played it. Did I skip too far? Nope. Why is hover not working? I will come back. I fell asleep last time. I was watching your stream. I may play guitar for an hour, then come back. Interesting. I guess this is definitely is the kind of stream that people would fall asleep to. Not particularly exciting. Very exciting. Oh, that's good to know. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, interesting. Why is it 0? That's wrong. How did this ever pass? what's happening? Trying to. I'm currently losing my mind, trying to fix what I thought was like some subtle bugs with when I'm merging together the screen layers. If there's a multi-column character, there's a bunch of like edge case rules where I merge it down and it obscures other characters. And I was trying to make the UI look nice, so it kind of like inherit background colors and stuff, but it turns out to be like I wrote this code that I thought was simple, and now it's just nightmarishly complicated. And I keep thinking maybe I should just scrap it. Maybe I should read it. I could refactor it, but then that'll take a ton of time. Let's see, I think this layer number is wrong. Terminal display is way more complicated than you would think. Yeah. Well, I know about it because I've been writing so much stuff for them. But I don't know, within the next couple of days I'll have to just figure out something and move on, get it good enough, and just looking at your code, I can tell if you feed it to an AI. Well, crap, it's digital despair, digital diaper. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. Like, I assume if I ask an AI to fix this, it'll be like, certainly, I'll fix that right away. You can try debugging by doing this basic thing. And I could probably get it to solve the problem by like giving it 5,000 prompts, and basically like by figuring it out myself and then telling the AI how to do it, and then it would just tell me back. This is like a nightmarish. This is horrible code. My goal was maybe just to get something that works, and then make some test cases, and then simplify it. But I've rewritten this like so many times. I think I may have to just rethink the approach or something. Prompt for days. Horrible. Horrible if it works. So what I wanted to do works, it's passing. Yeah, I think that's key. Just get something that works. That might be like complicated, and then you can just write up a bunch of unit tests, and then refactoring it becomes a lot easier. And then you can optimize it and all kinds of stuff. Not only does this make it it's like complicated and error prone, but it also is going to slow everything down, because the whole point of this function was just to be a fast way to merge stuff. Oh boy. You know what, I should probably call it a night. I'm gonna start going to bed earlier. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll probably end up looking at this again tonight anyway, but all right, we'll call it a night. And we'll resume tomorrow for day 92. All right, talk to you guys later.